Hello, all and one. That's a weird way to say it. Welcome to the PIPCAST 3000. I'm Caedo Genesis, joined by my co-host Bad Company Sarge.
Hi there.
And this is a bi-weekly podcast where we talk about gaming news and gaming stuff and something Bethesda related. This time, maybe a little bit of Skyrim stuff. But we get into some news and other things first. Our other co-host, Jared of Jarred Gaming, is currently having internet issues. So hope that gets sorted. And we hope to have you on next episode. But Sarge is here. Oh my goodness. Sarge.
Hi everyone.
You were telling me that it's been like six weeks.
Yeah, stuff happened. I'm back now.
Not to put you on the spot or anything, but I've seen you been doing a lot of cool little playthroughs on your channel.
Yeah.
One of them has a spinning wheel on it.
Does. I started Skyrim Wheel of Randomness this week, where I use like a random category of armor/clothing, weapons, and crafting skills each episode. It's been fun.
It's pretty cool in concept. I like that a lot.
Yeah, the latest episode goes out 2 hours after this video.
And it almost feels like a variant of what I'm doing without the need for console commands.
Yeah! I don't like using console commands in challenge runs.
Yeah.
I do have to use a website though.
I'm running into some issues that I'm scared to do certain things because of temporary bonuses and trade-offs.
I've seen like bits and pieces of your series, and I was watching one bit and I was just confused by obviously having something that stat boosts you and then you're trying to console command it down, but you can't just set it as one, you have to lower it by the amount. And,
it's mod AV versus set AV. I was seeing that mod AV is a lot safer to use than but you have to have unmodified attributes as far as I know to do that without it breaking. So, and now I have night person as well, so I have to make sure I'm doing it during the day.
Person?
I have to roll for them. I didn't choose night person.
Okay, that does make sense.
All my perks are rolled for. Like I'm a night person cannibal. I'm a disgusting wastelander.
Yes, you are.
In my roulette playthrough. Thank you. Anyway, ranting aside about our current playthroughs that we're doing on our channels, our topic is going to be based our critique of another article from The Gamer, a more recent one, 11 ways to make an overpowered warrior in Skyrim. And I think we both know a little bit of something about Skyrim at this point. I don't think I'm being arrogant for either of us by saying that.
I wish you were.
But first we have a comment of the cast and the news stuff to get into. So we'll start with the comment of the cast. It's a simple one, so I think I'll read it out because it's real quick and easy, and it's a thank you kind of thing. I didn't really announce or say anything about super thanks, but Xavier Wallace was the first one to give a super thanks on the channel, as far as I know, and that was in the last PIPCAST episode 102. So thank you for the $1.99, Xavier Wallace. I appreciate it so much. It doesn't mean you can, for the future, it doesn't mean you can buy being comment of the cast. It's just the first time this has happened.
I mean, unless you pay me directly, in which case I will make sure you're comment of the cast.
Okay.
We'll have to be sneaky though. Don't tell Caedo. No one tell Caedo.
Don't tell me. You have to go to Sarge's channel and super thanks there and make sure you say, I want to be on this episode of the PIPCAST 3000, and then Sarge will know to make sure you get shouted out on my show from supporting his channel.
Yes.
Yeah. If it wasn't complicated enough, there's your steps. Okay, let's get into the news. Starting with the developer direct that happened from Bethesda / Xbox. It's called Developer Direct because it's the developers directly telling us what they've been working on and what they have to show. And it has, I think, 5 projects that they were sharing and talking about. The first one was Elder Scrolls Online and its new update that's coming out soon. When's that gonna be?
I don't know. We'll get to it at the end, but I've played some Elder Scrolls Online recently, and I've now decided I don't care about any of the news surrounding ESO.
Okay. You just wanted to check and make sure annually that you still don't really vibe with it?
I mean, we'll get into it properly, but every once in a while I'm like,
Okay.
I should play ESO, and then I'm like, oh, I remember why I don't play ESO.
Yeah, I would probably do the same thing, honestly, because it's an MMO. I don't stay on them very long anymore. Okay, so that was one of the things that was shown. It was the new like Apocrypha Hermaeus Mora based expansion that they're coming out with soon and or shortly. Then Mojang Studios, the ones who brought us Minecraft, are making a game called Minecraft Legends, which looks kind of cool. This is an Xbox and Bethesda developer direct, so like these are, they squeeze that in for some reason. Arcane Austin showed off a lot more of Redfall, and I'm getting a bit more excited for that game to play it with my pals. Yeah. What did you get a look at it, Sarge?
Yeah, the Redfall section was the only one I actually watched. I didn't catch this live, so I was able to ignore the first half hour pretty much.
Oh,
like I skimmed through a few bits, but Redfall was the only bit where I watched the full section.
Oh, okay.
You sound so sad, Caedo.
I'm gonna geek out when we get to the Tango Gameworks part.
Yeah, that's fine. I watched some of the Hi-Fi Rush stuff. It's just not for me. It looks cool though.
Yeah. Okay, so Turn 10 was showing off Forza Motorsports, with just very pretty cars. The graphics in the cars are so gorgeous and all the stuff. Yeah. It's Forza. Like, yep. Everything looks great in Forza. They know what they're doing and they want to do, and it's great.
Yeah, I'm glad they only limited it to 7 minutes this time rather than half of the entire showcase. Right?
Yeah, for real. Well, a good chunk of the showcase of our the fifth thing that was shown, I'm out of order because I'm going off of what is, on screen that they're showing, was a surprise game by Tango Gameworks, the ones who brought us The Evil Within and the more recent Ghostwire Tokyo. The Evil Without.
Yep.
Ghostwire Tokyo. They released a game like during this developer direct or right after it called Hi-Fi Rush, and it is a action hack and slash rhythm game, and it's really good, amazing, contender for game of the year in my mind already.
But Caedo, don't you know what games are coming out this year?
Are they?
Oh no! Don't say that. Oh, it's bad enough.
You did listen to the episode where we talked about the layoffs in Bethesda and ZeniMax.
That wasn't last episode, was it?
It might have been. I can't remember.
I think it was the one before because I didn't actually listen to that one.
I only think on a day-to-day basis, so my memory just kind of floats away.
I'm still hoping that the Starfield releases within the first 6 months of a year is true. However, they also said it will be coming after Redfall, which is coming in May. So it's like late May or June is now the window. But, oh god, it could be worse.
Yeah. So if all goes to plan, it should be June, but it may not go to plan.
I'll go like 3 months before I'm covering anything new. Oh. I was hoping to stop the Skyrim content soon.
What else is new that you're gonna...
Redfall. I'll give Redfall some coverage.
Oh, you're gonna cover it?
Yeah, I figure why not? It looks pretty cool. It's an FPS, which I'm into. Can do some co-op stuff in it. And I'm figuring it's launching and then Starfield's not launching that much afterwards. So I can just do like initial coverage and then drop it when Starfield pops up. And that way I'm treating it almost as like training and practice and getting into the flow of regular new game content before Starfield. Because obviously I'm quite rusty on that. because the last big new game I properly covered was 76.
Yep. I think I'm constantly rusty. Like, I need to get buffed out by one of those those metal brushes, because I'm so rusty. Anyway, that metaphor kind of fell flat. I was just gonna talk about Hi-Fi Rush some more.
Go for it.
Because that was the next thing I decided to put into the outline with the trailer for the game. And also, some of the B-roll on screen is going to be of Hi-Fi Rush, so you can get an idea of what the gameplay is about.
Yeah.
Sarge, you said it's not really your thing. Is it the third person?
Third person plus rhythm action, I'm just flat out bad at. And I know there's like quite a bit of generosity in that most of the time, but even still, it's like I'm not too fussed about it. The soundtrack as well didn't like draw me in a huge amount, which in a rhythm action-y game is obviously quite a big appeal. If you like how the music sounds, you're gonna have a great time. If you're not all that fussed, meh. Like, I've got nothing bad to say about it. It's just, I've not got much that's good to say about it, which is gonna get me to sit down and play it.
Right. I will mention that when this was shown during the developer direct, it was very impressive for the developers at Tango Gameworks to go, hey, this is going to be out on Game Pass tonight.
Yeah.
And the price of the game on release, if you're not getting it on Game Pass, is $30, which is also amazing for a game that is this polished, coming out as a surprise at half normal price for AAA games, because it definitely feels like a AAA game. It's just wild that this is happening. I am a stickler, as you know, of animation and how characters look when they move and manipulate and things like that.
Yep.
This had like animated show style animation, like there was always movement. It's great. It's amazing. I don't have anything bad to say about the game. It's generally fun to, well, okay, there's one little thing, but it was more of a challenge to overcome in a game like this. But first I want to talk about like the fact that the whole environment goes to the beat of the music.
Yeah.
It's not just the on-screen indicator that shows the beat. It's the character. His walk and run cycles are both matched to the beat of the game. Everything around you shows you the beat of the music, including the enemy movement is also tied to the beat of the music. So it takes a bit to get used to. Like, I'm not saying you can just jump in and be like, oh, I'm great at this game if I have a natural metronome in my brain. No, it's probably going to take a little bit. But once you do start feeling that beat, it's incredible and satisfying, and all of the characters are cool and definitely inspired by other things. Like, there's a straight up JoJo character as one of the bosses. Like, it's pretty nuts. The dialogue and interactions between characters, it's like almost a step above Ratchet and Clank level quippy kind of, funny dialogue between characters. Yeah. Also, there's a lot of slapstick with how many times the main character Chai gets either like punched in the face or like slams headfirst into something, and it doesn't stop being funny because of the animation. Because the cutscenes are basically like watching a show. So I geeked out about that a lot, and you're seeing it on screen. So I don't know why I'm explaining probably what you're seeing some of the time. The one gripe that I had was there is a kind of a wall that you hit, at least that I hit, which was learning the parry. They introduced a parry, I think, like 3 or 4 missions in, and it's a crucial part of your your combat. Like the B button does nothing up until this part of the game.
Oh.
So once you get to the parry section, it starts to teach you these little cool like parry sequences. And one of the enemies it uses to teach you that is like a samurai type robot. Where like it goes into like a cool almost classic samurai film style where he does like a monologue. And then it shows a prompt that shows the exact beats you need to hit with your parry, and if you hit all of them, you can finish him off in one hit. If you don't hit all of them, you have to wait again until he starts the sequence. That part drove me crazy the first few times. But once I started to get it, and once I, fought that enemy a few more times, it is one of the best tools to learn how to parry in the game. But that is like the main like wall that I hit, and it wasn't really a wall, it was more like a waist high, I don't know what you call that. I lost the word. A waist high immersion.
Oh, dear.
What cover-based shooters use.
Yeah, those are waist high walls.
Okay.
So you're saying if the wall isn't a wall, it's a wall.
It's a barricade. So I can sound smarter. Anyway, if you have Game Pass, support this game however you can. Get Hi-Fi Rush so Tango Gameworks knows that they have a winner on their hands, because this game oozes style. It's a lot of fun to play, and we need more games like this to happen, because I don't want to continuously be disappointed by games this year. Kind of like I was, last year and maybe the year before. Speaking of disappointments, Redfall, one of the games that we were talking about just now, found out that it is going to have an always online requirement, even in single player when it first launches. What are your thoughts on this, Sarge?
I personally don't care, because I'll be playing it on Game Pass, and you need to be online for that. So this makes literally no difference to me. However, I do understand that if you're buying just the game as itself and you want to play solo, it's nice to not lose any progress or anything if your internet goes down. So I definitely can be like, oh yeah, that sucks that you can't do that. I've had some internet issues over the past so I was very limited in the games I could play when the internet was going down, which sucks, but this is something that's going to happen more and more, especially in games that aren't primarily or predominantly single player.
I personally am not the biggest fan of it, but some games, like I think even Deep Rock Galactic, cannot be played, and it's got that 4-player cooperative, like class-based vibe. I think even that game like could not function without being online. I think that's part of why this decision has been made. It's not convenient. It's very inconvenient, especially for those who don't have good internet and can disconnect at any time. If you have like wireless DSL, like what I dealt with before I moved here, man, that was a while ago now. Yeah, it disconnected pretty frequently, or somebody else was on the line, and I definitely did not have the data to actually play something like this. So it's an inconvenience, but I also kind of feel like I understand why they're doing that for a game like this. And I'm sure it's going to have like a constant rotating event system too that can be updated in real time, kind of thing. So we'll have to see though. I'm still stoked to play Redfall with my friends and see what kind of world there is to explore, because Arcane's worlds are just fun to explore.
I am very much looking forward to exploring an Arcane world in a game that isn't stealth primary focused.
Yeah. Yeah. There's like one stealth class.
Mm-hmm.
But the other ones do other things.
Like shoot guns.
And that's yeah.
Bang, bang, bang.
Like shooty.
I'm much better at shooty than stealthy.
Mm-hmm. And there's also robot. Robot's pretty cool. I don't remember all the classes.
Yeah. There's a sniper.
I just remember robot.
And I play sniper normally, so I will play sniper, I'm sure.
That's awesome. Something else that is more awesome than like not having to be online all the time is the Midnight Suns DLC announced for, well, I think it's already out. January 26th. It's the Deadpool DLC for Midnight Suns, a game that I still need to play.
Wait,
and now
you
Deadpool.
Haven't played this?
I haven't played it yet.
I swear you've ranted and raved about this game being amazing in like half a dozen different episodes over the past year. It's out.
Okay.
It's getting DLC, and you haven't played it.
I hope the listeners can back me up on this, and maybe you'll agree with me, Sarge. There's a game or two that I'm not done with yet, and if I add another one to the pile, I won't be able to fully appreciate it. So
the listeners are going to have to back you up. I'm not backing you up on any of this.
I'm waiting on Midnight Suns until my plate is kind of clear of the other games that I'm devouring at this moment, including Hi-Fi Rush, which, man, that game needs its own whole platter, because that's a meal and a half.
It's been 2 months this game has been out.
I know, and Kenshi exists.
Kenshi you've played hundreds of hours of for months and months and months
and I'm
already.
still finding new things.
Oh dear. Look, here's the thing. It is good to wait a lot before you actually play the game and everything. That's good. It'll often go down in price. I encourage it for everyone. I just don't expect people to be talking about how much they love the game for so long and constantly, and then be like, yeah, I won't get it.
I want to play it, but not yet. I'm excited to play the Deadpool DLC too.
Yep.
Or have Deadpool on my team, I guess, because that's what he is. If Jared was on, he'd be able to tell me, hey, the Midnight Suns is pretty cool, and I'd be like, yeah, can't wait to play it. but I am waiting to play it because I'm playing other things. Man, I feel like I'm being uninteresting, so let's talk about butts.
Oh, cool. I've got a butt. I'm sitting on it right now.
Yeah. Hey, me too.
Oh, wow. Hey. What a coincidence.
I believe most of our listeners can relate too, about having butts and
Let
using them.
Let us know in the comments. Do you have a butt? Just type the word yes. You don't need to do anything else.
This is like the lowest hanging fruit start of a topic I think we've ever done, at least in recent memory. So there has been like a whole bunch of stuff about The Day Before, which is like this zombie shootery type of The Division flavored thing that's supposed to happen, but the developers ran into issues about the trademark of the name The Day Before, and then because they hadn't shown any actual gameplay on their Discord, even the moderators on that Discord were like, we don't know if the game exists. And I'm like, wow, that's a lot of interesting news to happen. Well, due to likely pressure from angry nerds, they decided to upload a very bland video of quote-unquote gameplay that looks just really boring.
Do you like the colors gray and also brown? Oh, wow. I literally, as I'm watching the trailer, there was a red drill as like a dismantling thing, and every single other thing is grey. The background is grey, the text is either grey or white, all the items like the scope and the grips and the bullets and everything, it's all grey. Yeah.
It looks pretty bare, pretty proof of concept-y.
Yep.
But that's it. Like, I think I was able to count the amount of zombies that were shot in this quote unquote. I'm saying quote unquote gameplay because it still looks pretty doctored. But I think they only shot like 8 zombies
That sounds about right.
in the whole 10-minute gameplay trailer. In the zombie game that they're trying to promote. But I don't need to talk badly about the developers because they definitely get more than enough of that at this point, and even more so now that the angry like commenters finally got a little bit of gameplay trailer, and now they're even more mad about it. But I want to draw attention to one particular aspect in this trailer, and it's that the character that's being played is wearing extremely tight yoga pants. And it's probably the most interesting thing in all of the gameplay.
Oh dear. It's almost certainly the most commented on thing. Because, I mean, it's third person. You see your character's butt in third person a lot. So, this is just a butt that's been very clearly defined by the clothing. Which is why the comments say stuff like, I like the part where you get to walk around looking at the oh wait, that's just... I think that this could be either. There's one comment that says, I like the part where you get to walk around looking at the environment, and I'm not sure if they're being sarcastic about how bland it is, or if they're talking about the butt as the environment. Like, that could be either.
They needed to put emphasis somewhere.
Yeah.
And they didn't.
Yep. There's another person saying, let's all just take a moment and appreciate the detail from top to bottom.
Yep. That's one of the highly rated ones, I'm sure.
Yep. And gonna be hard sneaking around zombies with all that clapping. Yep.
So, if you feel like watching 10 minutes of bland gameplay, I guess go look at it. I don't have I've been keeping an eye on the day before because I do want something kind of that nature, another zombie game that I can add to my, my list, because I still have my list of zombie games for Fallout fans that I'm slowly curating.
Yeah.
But I don't know when this is going to come out. I don't know if this is going to come out as a game even. So we'll have to see somewhere down the line if this even occurs. So just a weird source of stories for the last few weeks. Anyway, something
completely normal,
totally normal, I guess, that Sarge linked here. What is this about fish?
They're stealing our money and we have to stop them.
Oh man.
Alright everyone, this is your warning. You've been here half an hour, that means you deserve to be warned. Everyone else is on their own. So...
Way to keep them hooked in, Sarge.
Hey, that's just the way this works.
I'm sucking at it today.
Do you know what a Pokemon is?
No.
They're Digimon but worse, that's all you need to know.
Oh, okay.
So, there's a YouTuber whose name I will not pronounce correctly. Mute-Kimari, I'm guessing, is how it's supposed to be pronounced, but who knows. And they run...
Mute-Kimaru? Oh my goodness.
They run a 24/7 live stream of their fish playing Pokemon games. You know how there's the whole Twitch plays Pokemon, and I beat Pokemon by smashing my face into a door, all of that kind of genre of live streams. This is just another one of those. And the fish swims over a grid of inputs that are sent to the console, and apparently it beat Pokemon Sapphire in 3,195 hours. So that's the kind of thing we're looking at. If you want to watch a fish swim around and occasionally happen to hit the right button, there's this. However, in a recent stream about a month or so ago, the human was away, and the fish was left just on the Switch's menu, just doing stuff, and somehow managed to navigate their way to the eShop and used the credit card to purchase 500 yen, which is around $4. Not sure if the conversion rate is still right for that, but yeah, around that kind of price. Of, credit thingy. and also exposed like their actual credit card information and save details for the stream.
Oh no.
Yep. I've got a PC Gamer article which has all the things, which is quite amusing because the fish apparently reviewed the eShop's terms and conditions, which is being marked as a red flag by the writer of this article. Attempted to set up a PayPal account, changed the account name from Mute Kamari to Rawawawawawa Yen, and downloaded the Nintendo 64 emulator, and then turned the Switch off.
Oh my goodness.
Yep. And then the human had to ask if they could get a refund for items purchased in error by my pet fish.
Wow, dude.
Yep.
What a story.
Yeah. I got told this by a friend, like, in real life, because it's a good one.
It's pretty great. Yeah, I'm actually watching the clip while you were explaining it, of them like going to the eShop and purchasing. That's ridiculous, dude.
Yeah.
They look like they purchased an N64 controller or something.
Oh, they get the emulator.
I guess it was the emulator.
Yeah.
Okay, it's just displayed as the controller, I guess. That's wild, man. So yeah, if you're going to stream your pet playing a game, make sure you keep eyes on them, because they might, like a kid, try to use your credit card information to make purchases online, because it's incredibly easy to do so and dangerous.
Mm-hmm. And fish are evil, so
yeah. So this is technically still a phishing scam, but performed at home by your own fish. So it's fish phishing. I guess they already had the information though. They were just, using it. Anyway.
I mean, the fish is the one making a lot of the content, let's be real. It deserves to get itself a treat.
I suppose. Just feel like the owner should be aware when it's happening.
I mean, it's a 24/7 stream pretty much, so...
Yeah.
The owner's asleep for a lot of it. Just out of the apartment. You don't expect your fish, your loyal friend for life, to steal all of your 500 yen when you're away.
Mm-hmm. It doesn't cost 500 yen to purchase the game we're going to talk about in a sec. Or does it?
I'm Googling it now.
I don't know exchange rates. I
mean, it was a case of the yen was about $1, but the yen's been dropping quite a bit. Which is, like, a bit difficult to really tell.
My segue might be completely false.
Yeah, to dollar at right now. Because 1 Japanese yen is $0.0076.
500 yen equals $3.81.
Yeah, the yen has been dropping, hasn't it? If you want to go to Japan, now's a pretty good time.
Let me recorrect myself. If you haven't gotten Game Pass and you get Game Pass for the $1 month fee, being able to play Fallout 4 will be less than 500 yen.
Yeah, about 131 yen.
Boom. Salvaged it.
Yeah.
Because Fallout 4 is the Washington Post's apparently favorite game? Fallout game?
Kind of. So this is by Billy Studholme. Lovely last name.
What a last name, dude.
We appreciate good last names on this channel.
Make any business with that name and it will be successful.
Yeah. And the article is titled Fallout 4, in quotes, has aged beautifully. You should play it again. That's
well,
it.
Let's play Fallout 4.
I'm waiting for the next gen update they said was going to happen, and we haven't heard anything about since.
Washington Post doesn't know about that.
No. Barely anyone does. Wasn't it like one line in one article from Bethesda?
Yeah.
And that's it.
I guess.
And
it's only the people that pay attention.
Yeah.
And I definitely wasn't thinking about it until now. So
I really hope it comes some point. I was hoping it'd be like this month or something, so I could play some Fallout 4 and do like extra coverage on that, then switch to Redfall, then switch to Starfield. At this rate, I'm going to be playing more Skyrim, and there's only so much more Skyrim I can play, Caedo. There's only so much more. Did you see the breakdown I had in my last 2 series?
No.
Watch them. I drew a mud crab. It got bad. Anyway, Fallout 4 is a lovely game. And Billy here, Mr. Studholme, says Fallout 4 might be the best game in the franchise, and even one of the best open-world role-playing games ever made.
He wants to fight.
It is time to give it its flowers. Oh yeah. I love this article. I love this article so much. I'm gonna scroll down a bit. He talks about a lot of just good stuff about it, but there's a bit about why people are like, Fallout 4 sucks. He does mention that it isn't perfect and all of that. I'm trying to find the thing. He talks about the dialogue system, and yeah, he makes like still valid complaints and stuff about it. But here's the article. Here's the paragraph I really like, where he writes, "It's impossible to divorce Fallout 4 from that lineage, i.e. the other Fallout games. Objective technical improvements notwithstanding, a common criticism of Fallout 4 upon release, beside the bugs, was that the dialogue changes did not work. Many believed, and I agree, that giving the protagonist a voice and limiting and obscuring dialogue options was a harmful change. Part of Fallout's beauty lay in the depth of interaction with NPCs. When this was tampered with, the game lost some of the franchise's essence. Though I would argue not much, the quests and characters are compelling as ever." So he is still like being, hey, there are genuine criticisms, there's things it does worse. This isn't just Fallout 4's the best ever, screw all the other games.
Yeah. It's, man, if we can dive into that for a second. I have been doing a playthrough of Fallout 3.
Yeah.
And railroading the character through dialogue, or railroading the player through dialogue, has been a thing for a very long time in Bethesda games. It's just made extremely apparent with Fallout 4's dialogue system. I think that's part of why it was such a big issue. Where if you have a dialogue box and you're choosing dialogue options, you don't necessarily always know what the outcome will be, and you have actually the full dialogue to read too, which is very helpful. But the amount of times I said like no in like crucial quest related things, and just they're being like, okay, take your time kind of thing. Like they know you're going to do it even though you said no. The clearing out Project Purity thing, like before you even give James an answer, the quest already continues. It's so ridiculous how just expecting the dialogue itself is, and you actually going ahead with what the game wants you to do as opposed to what you want to do. The dialogue thing in Fallout 4, the 4 choices thing along with the voice dialogue kind of locked the character a little bit more.
Yeah, I will gripe a bit as well, because I've been playing Oblivion as one of the other series on my channel, and that doesn't railroad you. Instead, it gives you a list of singular or sometimes 2 entire words from which you have to kind of infer what you're going to be talking about or asking about, and quite often you can't tell which thing you're supposed to click to get the information you want. Because say you're doing a quest where you need to find Joffrey and get the Mysteries Arcanum, and he's in Kvatch for some reason. This is just me getting keywords. And you'll have the dialogue options, Joffrey, Mysteries Arcanum, Kvatch, and you have to work out which one of those will actually continue the quest, because the other 2 won't. And
Oblivion was that weird midpoint though, like from like the clicky CRPGs to fully 3D ones, where like back then, like around the era of Fallout 1, like you had keyword dialogue where you could type in the thing you wanted to learn about, and it would just be usually a 1-word thing.
Yep.
And then they would tell you information about that, or you would spend, upwards of 10 minutes trying to type in words that would make sense, and none of them coming up with information and then getting frustrated and instead just doing the normal dialogue because that's easier.
Yeah. I think the heart of what we're getting at here is that older games have things that haven't aged that well.
Yeah.
Which is a large part of why Fallout 4 is being held up as, like, this brilliant thing, because it's aged very well, because it's not that old. It's, like, 7 years old now. Yeah. But for that, it's also aged well. It's modern enough that it's very easy to play. I think I've described the shooting a lot as just, like, solid. Like, it's not a great FPS game. There's really good ones out there. But there's no point where you're like, oh, the shooting's really bad on this. It controls funny or stuff like that. It all just flows fairly well.
Yeah.
And, yeah, often this is the most, or one of the most recent Fallout games is, therefore it has the most upgrades and technical stuffs and just ease of play, is often disregarded just entirely by reviewers and fans and stuff like that, which I think is not a correct thing to do.
I think part of the problem was too is that it was a lot of people's first Fallout game, and that's like any era of Fallout basically. Like 76 is experiencing that too, where like if Fallout 4 or Fallout 76 were your first games, then that means your expectation of like how the game plays mechanically is kind of already set. And then if you go back, you're like, oh god, like what happened? This is almost unplayable. But if you don't go back, you just have that assumption that this is how it's functioned. And it's like solid, as you said, and in a state where it feels right to play and go back to.
Oh yeah, I mean, I had that with Elder Scrolls. Without the nostalgia, the stuff before Skyrim is difficult to play and gets harder and harder the further back you go.
I mean, I told Jared that Morrowind was rough when I first started trying to play it. Like that, it's got some cool stuff in it, but it's hard, man.
I gave up on it again after trying it again. Roll to hit, man. Roll to hit is one of the dumbest things in any video game.
Yes, it
ever.
is. Well, the last time I played, I made all my major skills weapon skills because I wanted to level them as quickly as possible so I could get past that really quick.
I can't stand the beginning of the game just being you can't hit stuff. Do quests and get better. It's like, no, I need to be able to progress, so I need to be able to fight these enemies and stuff, but you're not letting me. You're just making me stand in combat with this rat. I fought a rat for over a minute. A rat. Wow. One rat.
That's a long time. Anyway, Fallout 4 is pretty good, pretty solid.
Yes, and I found the actual section I wanted to talk about, which kind of ties into the nostalgia and stuff, but then tangents. It says in the article, in fact, I think nostalgia for previous entries holds Fallout 4 back. Common sentiment among fans and critics is that both Fallout 3 and New Vegas rank above Fallout 4. Fallout is my favourite game franchise, and Fallout 3 sparked the love affair. Before Fallout 3, there was no Fallout as we know it today. Very good clarifier on there. I appreciate that. Because as we know it today, that's correct. If it was just like there was no Fallout, terrible.
There's no Fallout before 3.
No, obviously. But as we know it today, well done. The game blew the hinges off the franchise in the best way. Fallout 2, released 10 years before Fallout 3, had a bird's eye view a la StarCraft and turn and tile based combat. I mean, that's technically correct. It feels weird not seeing the word isometric in there.
Yeah, and also, like, comparing it to an RTS when it's not.
It's not. Like, everything in there is technically true, but it's like, that's a weird way to describe it.
Yeah.
The detail and scope of first-person Fallout 3 transformed the series. In 2010 came Fallout New Vegas, developed by the same team that worked on the first two Fallout games. It was a return to form for the developers, who this time around had all the resources of a huge publisher like Bethesda. Many fans consider it to be a perfect execution of the style introduced by Fallout 3 2 years before. And then there's the part of it's impossible to divorce Fallout 4 from the lineage that I said before. And I think it is a big thing where Fallout 4 gets judged in accordance to the release of it. Well, all of the Fallout games, or all of the modern Fallout games, are judged based on their release at the time they came out versus how the release of other ones around the time it came out, and like the initial playthroughs of it and stuff. Like, people loved New Vegas and stuff because when it came out, it was a bit dated in some aspects, but not anywhere near as much as today. If someone who had never heard of Fallout but enjoyed video games played New Vegas today, they'd have so many complaints about it. Because it's real clunky, it's got like awkward menus, it's got lots of stuff that just hasn't aged that well. And I think there's a really interesting conversation to have about judging a game as it is now, and as you as the person playing it now would judge it, versus how it came out and the whole nostalgia of it, and for the time it was great, which is a phrase that often gets games like 10 out of 10s, even in modern reviews, despite huge obvious flaws.
I've also been learning, we can talk about reviews for a second. I've also been learning that the review systems from like review journalist sites are definitely using the US school grading system more so than an actual numbered system, which is really annoying because this is seen internationally.
Yeah, what's the US school grading system?
Okay, so under 70% is, well, depending on the school, it's a D or an F. So that being applied to journalist sites is 7 is passable or average, and anything below that starts to become negative.
Well, wait, you said 70% is like a D or an F?
Yes.
Okay, over here in the UK, apparently an A is anything above 70%.
Really?
That is huge difference.
Wow, dude. Man, yeah. Maybe I'm thinking, man, I gotta check it now. Sorry, I take back what I said.
Alright.
No, it's still about right. C is 70 to 79%. D is 60 to 69%. Nice. And
Wait.
F is 0 to 59%.
That's weird. Yeah, that's very weird. That's very different to how it is over here.
So the thing that I have noticed is, like, even some of the streamers that I watch, like Archives or whatever, they talk about their own grading system and applying that kind of logic to their grading of a game or an experience with a game that they've had. And that's extremely jarring for those of us who are literal with number scores, and why number scores are so jacked up for everyone, because both of these systems are being applied simultaneously.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to throw that little fun tidbit out there.
That is a weird one. Also, anyone outside of the UK or the US, let us know if your grading system is significantly different to either of the ones we've mentioned. To simplify, is 5 average to you, or is 7 average to you? Yeah, because I found another thing.
Out of 10.
Weirdly, I'm on the Dutch Organisation for Internationalisation in Education, which is giving me the information for the UK grades and stuff. Very weird, but there's literally a part where it's got numbers, letters, and meaning, where U is ungraded and not assessed. 1, 2, and 3 goes from D to G, as in a weak pass. 4, 5, and 6 is a B or a C, a good pass. And 7, 8, and 9 are A star or A, very good to good. And there's not even a 10 here.
That sounds complicated.
Yeah. I mean, that's just one of them. That was for the secondary education grading system. There's also secondary vocational education grading system, higher education grading system, and study hours and credits.
Yeah, so there's some fun grading stuff.
Yeah.
About games that people have opinions on, I guess.
I mean, reviews generally suck. People give 10s all the time to games where they're like, it's got these problems, 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
Perfect. Despite all the stuff I said was a problem.
Yeah. And I mean, fan curated reviews are always flawed in that way too a lot of the time, where it's like if you're like blown away by something, you're going to give it, 5 stars or whatever. But if you have, a glaring complaint, you're going to give it a 1 star. That's generally how it works.
Oh yeah, I love reading like Google reviews, or at least checking out the numbers. I'm going to type in Cyberpunk 2077. Does it have the... Oh, it doesn't have the thingy. There's normally like a bar with how many people gave it 5 stars, 4 star, 3 star, 2 star, and 1 star. And 5 star and 1 star are always the biggest like percentages.
Yeah.
Because people are like, well, it's either the greatest thing ever or it sucks.
I see it. And yes, that is true.
Cool. Yep.
Audience rating summary. The 5 is a bar that's about halfway, and the 1 is a bar that's about a quarter of the way, and 4, 3, and 2 are all much smaller.
Yeah.
But the overall rating, audience rating summary
3.6.
is 3.4.
3.4
is what the Google one is saying.
It's always somewhere in the middle when you get the average, because people love it or they hate it.
Yep.
And the people who just kind of enjoy it often won't write a review anyway. You have to have
I love
a
it
big response.
and hate it at the same time.
Yeah, I'd give it like a 2.5 stars. But then again, I haven't reviewed it, so I'm not making a difference to these. I'm just complaining about it.
So if you were to review, now that we've thrown a whole bunch of numbers at the people listening, so if you were to review Fallout 4 right now, as it is, what rating would you give it out of 10, treating 5 as average?
It's going to be around an 8.
Yeah?
Like, depending on how much I think about it and how critical I am, it could go down. I think 8.5 would be as high as I'd go, 7 would be as low as I go, and that would be being, like, very critical. But I think it's a very good game. It's got a handful of flaws, but like the article kind of points at, the biggest complaints are people saying, why isn't this the game I like? You know, the other one in the series, my favourite game, why isn't this New Vegas 2? Or why isn't this Fallout 3 but with updated graphics? Why isn't this Fallout Tactics? Again. Come on. So I think when you ignore all of that stuff and just look at it kind of on its own, Fallout 4 is a great game. Like, it's really good. It's still got bugs, which definitely knocks it down. I feel like any game that's still fairly buggy is, at best, a 9 out of 10.
At best, yeah.
Yeah. And I do think the dialogue system, I don't think it's terrible, but it does limit things a bit. And there's other mild complaints, but, like, really minor stuff. Like, I've complained about the music, how most of the exploration is with the same kind of generic background track, and I'm not a huge fan of the music. However, with the amount of people who have personally insulted me on the video where I complain about Fallout's music, I do understand I'm in the minority, and the fact that the games I listen to were composed by Nobuo Uematsu has a huge impact in that, because he's amazing and has made like some of the greatest video game soundtracks of all time, and that's basically where my baseline is.
Yep.
It's like, Fallout's music sucks in comparison to Final Fantasy 7 through 9. Those games were great.
Yeah. And we're regularly getting newly arranged ones too that are even more ridiculously amazing.
Yeah. Overall though, Fallout 4 is a great game. It has so much good stuff. It does a lot of things really well. I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10.
Nice. I think I would give it about the same, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't played it in a while because that was the one that I spent the most time making guides on in a very consistent way. And it just, like, once that sense of discovery is kind of like gone, I don't have much motivation to go back to something until I've forgotten a lot of it.
Yeah.
It's getting there. It's getting to that point again. I don't know if I'm going to jump back in for survival mode because, like, if it gets to the point where I have the time or want to make a Caedo's countdowns for Fallout 4, I'm gonna want to not play it on survival mode to get that footage.
I just want to quickly say, survival mode's so good, and I love that they did something different with the highest difficulty.
Yes. Oh man, more survival mode, please.
Yeah.
In
more of
Starfield,
just changes like that in difficulty. Developers in general. Like, Fallout 4 did it with one mode. Middle-earth Shadow of War had a really good variety of difficulty settings where it changed little things to truly tweak the difficulty without just scaling damage and scaling health. Like, scaling damage and scaling health is the boring way to do difficulty.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much anything else is better.
I'm not disparaging, like, survival mode at all. I just know that you have to be very slow and methodical in how you play. If you're going to get footage, don't play survival mode. If you're playing just for fun, yes, play survival mode.
I like how you say you've got to be slow and methodical. I'm remembering the last time I played survival mode, which was a stream with pipe weapons only, where I was just trying to do better than my challenge run, where I blew up on a mine in the second episode. And I did so good that I made it to the Boston airport, ran out of ammo fighting ghouls, and then they all ran away from me. So you can sometimes do crazy stuff on survival mode, and when it pans out, it's insane, because it's like, I haven't saved in like an hour, and I've done all this stuff. It's crazy, but it's also like high risk, high reward. It's
terrifying.
Yeah. It's not always what you want to do.
Yeah. But yeah, that's the Washington Post loves Fallout 4. There's a lot more to that article, by the way.
There is. It's well worth a read through. It's not super long, but it gives like some good perspective on the game.
Mm-hmm. Obligatory links are down below for all of our sources of the things that we're talking about. I know that a lot of people who cover news don't do that, but I've been very consistent in making sure that that happens, so you guys can actually see what we're talking about without just, hearing us blabber on about, I don't know, rating systems.
Yes. All right. Well, we came from the Washington Post. Let's now head to a site with an equal reputation, The Gamer.
We're going high. Okay. The Gamer article that we chose to go over and critique. It's another listicle, 11 ways to make an overpowered warrior in Skyrim. Again, we have a little bit of experience in Skyrim. I would say, maybe an hour or two.
Yeah.
Probably like, 3-4 hours.
Oh, I don't know if I've played that
on a good day.
That'd be
really?
excessive. Yeah. I've played maybe 2 hours of a game in my life.
This has gotta be a stage name. This article is written by Scott McCool.
Yeah. Hold up, I've just clicked on Scott McCool. One article published since October 19th, 2019. This is their only thing. It was updated in January 2023, and on like the first opening bit, there's a thing that says updated on January 18th, 2023 by Brandon Lazardi.
Interesting.
So it was updated on the 20th and the 18th.
One article since when? Let me look at this again.
Since
October 19th, 2019. So that's 3 years, right? Is my math right?
Yeah.
3 years.
It's a little over 3 years.
Since they wrote an article, just one, for the gamer. So this might be a good one if they either gave up or the gamer editor was just like, no.
I'm guessing this means this also came out 19th of October 2019.
Uh-huh.
But was updated like
recently.
2 weeks ago.
Yep. So let's get through this intro and then jump into the fun things. 11 ways to make overpowered Skyrim. Getting around Skyrim can be tough. You'll need a strong character to get by. Here's how you do that.
We haven't read any of them yet. Come on.
Basically, everyone plays as a warrior for the first time when going through Skyrim.
Hey, Caedo, what did you play as the first time you went through Skyrim?
Stealth Archer.
I was a mage. Yeah, everyone plays as a warrior.
The timing is medieval, and the cover of the game shows a Nord armed with swords and heavy armor. When going into the game, everyone just wants to slash apart some dragons as the Dovahkiin, even if they don't play as a Nord. The first time around, most people mess up, so the Dovahkiin isn't as fearsome as the legends portray him. Luckily, there are a number of ways to make sure the titular hero is the most powerful warrior in Tamriel. Warrior with a capital W, by the way. And they'll be listed below.
Yep.
Updated on January 18th, 2023 by Brandon Lizardi. Being one of the most famous video games of all time, Skyrim continues to have new ideas and meta gameplay analysis for how to make the most of a playthrough. To ensure that you're not missing out on the key strat for making a powerful warrior character, we've made a couple of changes to the article. Okay, let's start with number 11, Sarge.
Yep, how to make a powerful character. Just kill everything.
Powerful warrior.
Powerful warrior, sorry, yes.
Yep.
Anytime you have a chance to fight something and get away with it, do it. What does it mean by get away? Well, I'm carrying on, I'll complain later. You'll never increase in one-handed or two-handed fighting capabilities if you don't kill everything you can. The more damage you do, the faster your skill in offensive perk trees increases.
Wrong.
Complaining later. There's another bit.
Okay, sorry.
Whether it's a mud crab on the ground, why is that a link? A giant in a nearby camp, or a frost dragon flying overhead, nothing should be too powerful to conquer in the eyes of the Dovahkiin. The feeling will eventually come naturally for you. Before you know it, your weapons will become multiplicatively more powerful than they initially were.
Were they just looking for one ridiculously multi-syllable word to add to this to make it sound intelligent?
I recently tweeted out about someone who said I was behooven to do something. This has the same energy. Nobody uses behooven, nobody uses multiplicatively. These are not words you actually use.
You could say multiplicative, I guess.
Oh, even that.
If you're
like
talking
a real
about
stretch to say.
If you're talking about like but people say multipliers
yeah,
as like an
you'd say
easier
multiplier
shorthand too.
or it multiplied, or even they'll use a number like 10 times the power or 5 times the cheese.
Yeah. Oh man, so much cheese.
Cheese.
That's too much cheese.
Alright, so I'm gonna let you complain first and then I'll scream.
Okay, the link is 10 things you never knew about mud crabs, so that's accurate. We can add that to the things to look at later. Okay, the more damage you do, the faster your skill in offensive perk trees increases. That's actually not true.
Oh, you mean they're on offensive perk trees? I'm sorry, I just hate the phrasing of that. It's a skill tree where you can purchase perks. Like, technically it makes sense, but it's wrong. And
they could have used a variety of things. Like they could have just said weapon skill trees.
Yeah, I don't like the phrase offensive perk trees. Perk trees. Perk trees. No, it's not a perk tree.
So you would say the sentence about offensive perk trees is offensive?
Yes. You know what I would kind of accept as a perk tree? Maybe. The closest thing I can think of is Final Fantasy X's leveling system, where you put orbs in a thing and that's kind of like spending perks. That's the closest I could get to like a perk tree. No. I hate it. I hate everything. Let's burn this article.
Yeah, kill everything. This is just super broad too.
Yeah, it's useless.
It's pretty useless. But yeah.
It's like, hey, go fight a dragon. That'll make you strong. We won't point out, but it will make you dead.
Yeah. I wanted to mention, like, for leveling weapons too, like, you want your weapon to have the highest base damage, but anything you add with improvements, like at the grindstone or whatever, that doesn't add to your skill gain at all. So the more powerful you make your weapon, actually the more time it's going to take to level that skill, because you're killing things too fast.
Whoa, Caedo, you're too far ahead. We're not improving our weapons. We're just
Dang it,
killing
I'm
everything.
sorry.
We haven't been told to get good weapons. We haven't been told to have armor. We haven't been told to try and survive in any way. We're just getting out of Helm Keep, instantly murdering everything we find.
Okay. I just wanted to clarify why that part was incorrect.
Too complex.
because I made a leveling guide and I'm very proud of it.
Oh, I scrolled down to number 9. Don't scroll down to number 9. Just read out number 10 without scrolling down.
Number 10, block powerful attacks. It's showing a spellcaster being blocked.
I mean, it is being blocked with the correct shield, at least.
With the correct shield, yes. It says blocking may seem obsolete, but with its perks all the way up, another link, you can not only minimize damage taken in the middle of combat, but also slow time when blocking. Shield bash them to nullify their whole attack, and then deal damage in the process, leading into whichever other attacks you wish to dish out. The best way to get your blocking skill up is to do that. Is to do just that, block. But the skill goes up faster whenever you block more damage, so long as you can survive. Block attacks from giants and dragons as often as you can. Draugr Deathlords work too. That is accurate.
It is accurate. This one isn't terrible. However, they are just kind of, once again, telling you to be fighting giants and dragons and assuming that you'll be fine with it. Without getting us prepared to get up to that point. The whole thing with Skyrim is you start off fairly weak, but can get strong like really quickly if you know what you're doing. But they've just been like, okay, you're in the middle of the game, you're probably like level 20 or whatever, sure, let's just assume all this stuff has happened, block attacks, kill everything.
Yeah. The so long as you can survive it thing too. There could have been a little extra there, be like bring a lot of potions or a crap ton of wheels of cheese if you can carry them.
There's so many other things, but we've got 9 more points. Before we move on to point number 9, there's images associated with each of them. In the image for number 11, you're in like steel plate armor. Cool. Good set of heavy armor, good for a warrior, good defenses. In the one below, that looks like iron plate, which is an anniversary edition one. But another heavy armor set. So what do you think number 9 would be, considering that you're wearing heavy armor in 10 and 11?
Wear heavy armor.
Oh, swing and a miss. Focus on light armor.
Oh, what?
Yep. Just wait till we reach number 8. Just you wait.
Dag nabbit. All right, what's this one on light armor, Sarge?
While heavy armor is the stronger armor class on average, it has its drawbacks. It takes longer to upgrade, makes you over-encumbered faster, and requires more time and materials to get better heavy armor. Your armor skill goes up based on the amount of damage you take, so light armor would naturally rise faster. There are very few full unique sets of heavy armor, so you'll find more unique and powerful armors in the light category. Even the best armor in the game, the Death Brand armor set, is light armor. That leads us to our next entry in the list, which is also going to suck as much, because I'm an idiot writing this. Ha 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 ha. I may have gone off script at one point there.
A little bit. Going full Mr. McCool.
So, makes you over-encumbered faster. Slightly weird phrasing, but kind of correct. That's a valid point to not want heavy armor. They also missed a valid point of you sprint less, you'll be a bit slower overall, that kind of stuff, where you could make an argument that you want to be more mobile than your foe. They've also not really mentioned that there's an armor cap, so you can get light armor to be as defensive as heavy armor. Obviously, that's quite an endgame thing, but those are all perfectly valid reasons to focus on light armor, which they kind of said one of, and then BS'd for the rest of it.
Yeah. I don't think the armor skill going up thing is better for one armor class over another.
Nope.
Because I'm pretty sure it's the base damage you're taking, regardless of what you're wearing.
If anything, it would probably be better with heavy armor, because heavy armor gives you more protection, so you're more likely to survive the attack and survive the encounter where your armor skill went up.
So technically it is more efficient to wear heavy armor to raise defensive skills.
But it's also such a minor thing that either one works depending on your build. My bigger problem was requires more time and materials and takes longer to upgrade and get better heavy armor.
That's a valid reason.
But I disagree.
Wait, what?
I think it depends entirely on just what quests you happen to do when, and what skill you naturally have higher. Because armor and stuff that you're given often as quest rewards is tied into if you've got light or heavy armor. So, for example, playing as an orc, when you go to the Jarl and be like, hey, there's a dragon dude, he'll give you heavy armor. If you play as a Khajiit, you'll get light armor.
I didn't know
Generally.
this.
Oh, didn't you? Oh.
No.
Yeah, this is a thing. With a lot of the quests in Skyrim, it's tied to the skill you have higher when there's like a couple of rewards.
What?
So, yeah, which means you get the one that should be suited for you. I think the Jarl's one is the most obvious, because you generally do that very early, just tell him about the dragon. So you get it based mostly on like your racial stats, rather than stuff that you've been leveling so much.
That's cool.
Yeah, but I just say in general, I don't think light armor's significantly easier to get better versions of early. I think you can get more of it early, but typically when you're fighting like bandits and other low-level stuff, there'll be a bunch of them in light armor, but it'll all be like fur or hide, and then there'll be someone in iron armor early on, sometimes a bit of steel, but those are the high-level enemies, kind of the end boss of the dungeon sort of thing, and oftentimes they'll have slightly improved gear to everyone else. So I'd say if you're doing quests as like a standard person would, you're probably going to end up with slightly better categories of heavy armor than light armor right at the start, and then for the best stuff, that's dependent on the quest lines you do.
You know much better than me. I just found out something new, so...
I have a lot of complaints about this one. Shall we move on to number 8, which is obviously going to be flawless?
I want to see like one more thing. I want to see if you agree on the Deathbrand armor set thing. Is that the most powerful light armor in the game?
I mean, no, but yes, but I can kind of see why. It's down to personal preference. I'm going to check what Deathbrand's enchantments are. Deathbrand armor. Let's see, because it's a unique set. It's pretty decent. So it has extra 15 stamina for each Deathbrand item, extra 10 carry weight for each Deathbrand item. While dual wielding one-handed, you get an extra 10% damage for each Deathbrand item you wear. You get water breathing and plus 100 armor when the full set is worn. So it is a good set for like dual wielding characters.
So, making the ultimate warrior, you would say that not having the capability of blocking would go against being the archetype that we're going for in the article.
I didn't click in my head that they literally just told us we need to block everything and then are recommending the dual wielding armor set.
Yeah.
God. It's also the case that to improve the armor, you need the ebony smithing perk. So you have to go up in the smithing skill tree to like improve it from base. But you know what? That's probably not going to be a problem because number 8 focuses kind of on that.
Interesting. Oh god. Okay.
Yeah.
Ooh, it's getting good. It's getting spicy. Number 8, don't bother with smithing. These are not my words, just to remind everyone. The best pieces of armor in the game can't be made with smithing. And when it comes to upgrading the armor, there's only so high your armor rating can get before it no longer benefits you to upgrade it. You can only reduce damage taken to by a maximum of 80%, which is achieved at 567 armor rating or 542 if you're using a shield. There also comes the problem that if you want good additional effects to your armor, you would need to go into enchanting. Even if you did, there are many enchantments that you can never perform with all possible items that can be enchanted.
How to make an overpowered Skyrim warrior. Don't bother with the crafting skills. Why would you do that? It will require some effort.
This was hard for me to read.
Oh yeah, I mean, the stupidity on display here. The fact they even acknowledge that 567, that's your armor cap without a shield, negates 80% of the damage. Great stuff. I'm not sure if that's exactly the amount, but that sounds right. I'm not going to begrudge them too much on like a small technical thing on the percentage there, because that is still the damage cap. But the fact they're saying your armor can only go so high, so don't improve it, is insane. Because you need to improve it to get it that high.
Yeah, with the unique sets, you have to improve your smithing to improve enchanted armor.
Yep.
You have
Arcane
to.
Blacksmith. Is it like six? I think it's 60 smithing you need.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's quite a way up there. And the fact that they tack on at the end that you'd need to go into enchanting as well, and you don't want to bother with that because not literally everything can be disenchanted, is dumb. I feel like anyone who's played even a reasonable bit of Skyrim knows about, like, the smithing, enchanting, alchemy loops, and how that's, like, the way to make any character overpowered.
I do wonder how many of these many enchantments you can never perform are, too. Because
Yeah.
there's a handful,
Yep.
like, a few. Most of them you can.
Yeah. I mean, technically they don't say there are many in-game enchantments, they just say there are many enchantments. So, for example, you can't add a float effect to your sword.
Nope.
That's true. You also can't have it so when your armor's hit, a rabbit jumps out. Like, if we just put it as anything, that's spot on. Enchantments don't do literally everything possible.
We're in the theater of the mind, as certain DMs in official capacities like to say.
Yeah.
That's some hardcore role playing we're getting into, describing here.
Well, I think we've hit the dumbest part of the article.
Yeah, the don't bother with smithing thing, this is the worst advice for becoming an overpowered warrior.
And I'm loving how every point kind of counters the point before it. Like, focus on light armor. I pointed out how that would be fine if you hit the armor cap, which you do through smithing and upgrading it. And then they're like, don't bother with smithing.
Yeah. Oh, it's really dumb.
Yep.
That's really dumb. Especially with, like, I'm not going to fault, like, the lack of Anniversary Edition stuff here, too. Like, we can find plenty of stuff to pick apart at this point. But I made it my personal mission to make the smithing section, specifically in my leveling guide, be as simple and straightforward as possible, and I'm pretty sure I achieved that. So if this is the plug, like, if you're looking for something that'll just, like, help you smash through smithing so you can get to that point, I have made a method or published a method that is incredibly easy and glitch free. Please look at my ultimate leveling guide if you haven't already.
There's I've heard a bunch of different, like, ways to level smithing fast. Obviously some are better than others, but the fact there's several different ways to do it
there
shows
are several.
that shows that there's plenty of range in it, but it's not like some crazy difficult skill where you have to do this one very niche thing to get it up. It's like, no, it's you smith stuff. At the core of it, you use the skill and it improves.
Yeah.
It's to just be like, nah, ignore it, it'll be too difficult, is ridiculous.
So me and Sarge are saying, as far as I can tell, do bother with smithing.
Yes.
Ignore number 8.
Number 7, though, is I mean, it is an obvious one.
Yep.
So get the best equipment. This should be obvious. If you want to be a bane to the undead, wield the Dawnbreaker. If you want to fight powerful mages, wield the Spellbreaker to block their magic. No, we're going on. We're ignoring the fact they're putting V before everything.
Sorry. Okay.
If you want to fight some dragons, wield the Dragon's Bane. It's mainly common sense, but you have to know what's compatible. The same works for defending, of course. If you're fighting against a frost dragon as a Nord, it helps to wear an amulet that lets you shave away the extra 50% of frost damage and become immune to their attacks. If you're fighting a group of enemies, the ethereal shield helps to juggle bash them into oblivion, or in this case, Ethereus. I wonder how they get their frost amulet. Like, it'd be really useful if you could enchant something like that, but we can't use the enchanting skill, so I guess I'll just have to hope one falls on my face.
Yeah.
Also, become immune to their attacks. They just mentioned about damage caps in the last one. Now they're being like, complete frost immunity? Sure.
Yeah. And in order to do that, roll a Nord and, just have an amulet that gives you the other 50%.
Mm-hmm. And
it's
it
so
makes
easy.
you immune to their attacks. Chomp, 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 dragon eats you.
Yep. Don't forget about that part. Yeah. Oh man, I didn't mention that at the beginning. Like the damage leveling part, part of it I agreed with, after you hit a certain point of, defenses. But dragons have a finisher.
Oh, so many enemies have a finisher.
Yeah.
You know what? I was actually going to bring that up with a blocking stage, how they were like block everything, and I was thinking, what about two-handed power attacks where you're blocking and you just get insta-killed?
The Draugr Deathlords are not really a good idea for leveling either because they can shout you.
Yep.
But like dragons have a finisher, and if you're trying to level block off of a dragon, don't. Because if you get down to like, what is it, like 20-30%, like they'll just, it depends on like how much damage they would do if you don't have your shield up, but like they will just chomp you and throw you, like, and then you're dead. Which I also go over in my leveling guide too, which enemies don't do that.
I mean, overall, the point of get the best equipment is kind of helpful, but as they say, it is obvious to have the best stuff, and they've just turned us away from making anything, so we're having to just go with uniques that are in the game, which is why they're just bringing up these.
The thing is, too, like, they left a link in the but you have to know what is compatible thing that links to the strongest unique swords in Skyrim ranked. So this is more the clickbaity stuff where they link you to a separate list on the same site that lists 18 items you need to go through to decide on what you want. And that list in particular is, fairly well made, but some of the information should be included here. Just a smidgen, just a little bit. But yeah, this is a just get good, and also no ethereal shield. No.
Oh yeah, I forgot that.
Fully disagree.
There. Yeah, using it to juggle bash them is
no.
Like, if you want to juggle bash an enemy, use vegetable soup.
Yeah,
that's the actual item you need.
Yep.
And
True.
Literally any shield or weapon that you can block bash with.
And man, shield charges, OP.
Oh, they're fun.
You don't need any special shield to do that. You just need to level up your block. Yeah. I put ethereal shield just because of its I think because of its block value on my shields countdown. But in that video specifically, I was also like, okay, I know what it does, but where can this be applied practically compared to other shields?
I feel like it's got some niche use, but
super niche use. Like, if you need that level of crowd control, I don't think you should be using a shield. I think you should be running away.
Yeah, running away works so much better. They are also having us carry a lot of different weapons and items in this article. It's like, have multiple shields and swords depending on the fight.
It's a lot of stuff. I'm
also
also
if they recharge any of them.
Yeah, I'm also starting to feel like this list is definitely like two people contributing to the same list, which makes it, kind of jerk aroundy. But also, maybe the original person was playing on like easy or something.
I mean, they've got to be, right?
Makes it kind of.
They're not playing on legendary. If this was playing on legendary, they'd have made it nowhere at all.
Because like even the advice for block skills and armor skills in particular, it's just like that doesn't fly on anything above like normal.
Yep. As someone who plays generally on higher difficulties and like with survival mode and stuff enabled, I don't bother leveling my armor skills.
You're playing on master
you just die.
most of the time.
Yeah,
right?
I play on master these days. I used to play almost exclusively on legendary. Like at the higher difficulties, you do not attempt to level the armor skills in combat. That is not the way to do it. You can get skill training, you can purchase that, that's a sensible way to do it. But on my realism mode, I'd get like hit once or twice and be on death's bed.
Yeah.
And that's not enough to get a level in any armor skill.
Nope.
Alright, well, is it me or you for number 6?
I think it's
you.
me.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of filling out that carry weight some more, Number 6, stock up on potions. It's a nice picture of modded potion visuals. I like that look, actually.
Oh, I don't, but it is, and everyone, and life.
Wow.
Yeah.
Whoa. Sarge. Too existential.
Carry on. Potions. That's what we're talking about.
Potions are the real lifeblood of the Dovahkiin. Instantaneous, powerful, and have no in-combat cost. These potent little drinks can be the difference between life and death within the dangerous lands of Skyrim. Whether it's potions of healing to recover lost health, potions of stamina to keep laying down the power attacks, or stat-boosting potions to deal more damage or reduce incoming attacks, they're all worthwhile. Another link. Which goes to every unique potion in the game. Next paragraph. You don't even need to use all the ones you find. Unhelpful potions can be sold for a good price, giving you more money to buy the potions you actually need. Collect every potion you find, use the ones you need, and save the rest for either profit or that extra tough boss fight.
I think this is the first point where we can kind of just be like, yeah, potions are helpful.
Yeah, well, yeah, like it's more of a sass to it, because who doesn't understand potions? Like, it's just an acceptable thing in fantasy games at this point, or an accepted thing.
This is an article where they've told us to avoid crafting to make an overpowered character.
All right, yeah,
we can't take anything for granted.
I'm convinced they're playing on easy.
Yeah.
You're right.
I'm impressed they know that potions are good.
Mm-hmm.
This could so easily have been, hey, don't bother with potions, just kill the stuff first. That way you won't need to use it.
Yeah, I was hoping for like the next paragraph to be, if you're not weighed down enough just yet, make sure you're crafting a whole bunch of useless potions too and just keeping them on you for the heck of it.
No. Well, I think we're starting to get into good advice, so that's going to continue now, right?
Oh, is it?
Yep.
Okay.
With the best advice you can have, fight powerful, friendly NPCs. Yes, whenever just killing everything isn't enough. I mean, you never said we shouldn't kill friends, so I've already killed all of them. Fine. Know that fighting your friends will make you a better fighter, as long as they don't know that you're doing it. Grab a spare Greybeard or your buddy Shadowmere, and just sneak behind them, and just deal as much damage to them as you can. It helps if you have the game on Legendary while doing this. As long as you don't kill or down them, they won't try to attack you. This method won't cause any problems, so raising the difficulty lets you do more damage to them for less risk.
What? I'm sorry. Raising the difficulty lets you do more damage to them.
Everyone knows the higher the difficulty, the stronger you are. And there's no risk, and I love that they emphasize it multiple times about, like, yeah, as long as you don't kill them, they won't attack you.
I think they were watching an informative video at the same time as they were typing this, and meant to say that it will net you more experience. Not do more damage.
I mean, even then, that's not true, right? It just means they don't take as much damage, so are less likely to get killed. I feel like that's the real advantage. I'm not sure.
I thought upping to legendary increased experience gain.
No, it's literally just a multiplier for damage you take and a negative multiplier for damage you deal. That's it.
No skill gain bonuses?
No, Skyrim has basic difficulties.
Cool.
Yeah.
Then I am only basing that opinion on comments that I've seen of people telling me to do that.
Oh, I don't. The comments are dumb.
Yeah.
I've read too many lately giving me bad advice.
Not you listeners, though. You're smart.
Some of you. I know who will be commenting on this. I've read some of your comments. Alright. There are multiple more things to mention here. Obviously, you're gonna get attacked.
Yep.
They're like, as long as you don't kill them, they won't attack you, which in its own right is like, hold up, they're gonna attack me after I've killed them, is what you're saying?
The Greybeard method is like a notorious one, though. Like, if you're just leveling stealth, then no, they're not gonna see you.
Yeah.
or they're not going to attack you because they won't see you. But if you're leveling other combat skills on them, they will shout you until you're dead.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I intentionally pissed off the Greybeards outdoors just so they could shout me off the mountain because it's hilarious. They will kill you.
Yeah. It's also the fact that with this method, you're leveling Sneak, which is leveling a like non-warrior based skill, and one which I'm sure you'll never use, which is going to artificially boost your level and make all the enemies tougher. And your Sneak will go up a lot faster than your combat skills will. Sneak levels quickly.
Yes, it does. Yeah, so, especially if you're doing the sneak attack thing. Like, you can over-level too quickly, too fast, which is why this was one of the methods that I excluded from my leveling guide, because, and mentioned it several times, that over-leveling a certain skill is sometimes a bad idea.
Yeah, it can screw you.
Yep.
Like if you make an entire challenge run about getting speech to 100 and then realise you're too weak to fight anything and get anywhere, so all you can do is just do skill training.
And you can't talk it out.
Boring series ever. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know what? That point sucks. Whatever. Caedo, you brought up shouts. So, number 4.
Oh! Number 4. Use shouts. One of the biggest downsides of focusing solely on the warrior class is that you have very little range. This problem barely exists whenever you have the right shouts in your arsenal and know how to use them. Even the unrelenting force can knock down the enemy long enough for you to reach them. If you're fighting an archer from a distance, using the disarm shout helps to get rid of their bow, and knocking down mages is always a good tactic in a bind. If all else fails, you at least can take cover and shout offensively from a distance whenever you get the chance. That's really funny. In any other context, that sentence would be more hilarious.
Yeah. I feel like there's a couple of very small critiques we can add to this one, but overall, using shouts as a warrior, yes, that's helpful.
And examples.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I would have to look.
Bit, and
there's that. There's effective range that should be mentioned too. That I don't know how far disarm goes, but I don't think it's that far to snipe an archer with.
It's also a thing, enemies move around and stuff, so you're having to be accurate over long ranges with shouts, which is difficult. And the shout recharge timer means you can't spam it all that quickly.
Yeah.
But in general, yeah, using shouts is helpful. If you're going down the dragon fighting route anyway, use your shouts. Good stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's a link in every entry, by the way.
Yeah, I'm ignoring them at this point.
The link of the right shouts in the arsenal is the 20 best shouts ranked. Isn't there 30?
Number 3. Pick the right race.
Oh, This should have been number 1. Or whatever, the start of it.
We're building the character after we've already blocked dragon attacks successfully.
Okay.
Without any crafting skills.
Sorry. My bad. Continue on.
Yep. Most Skyrim races have individual properties that allow them to excel in areas where other races fall short. I just want to point out, yes, it says axel, not excel, axel.
ACCEL.
Yep. This has been edited at least twice recently. The main 3 races that make for a good warrior are the Orcs, Nords, and Redguards. For starters, they all are naturally higher in warrior skills than other races. Nords have a natural 50% resistance to frost damage, which is normally a problem to warriors since it drains stamina, and their battle cry makes enemies momentarily flee. Orcs have the Berserker Rage, which lets them do double damage for a minute, and Redguards have the Adrenaline Rush, which temporarily increases their stamina regeneration speed tenfold. I mean, besides Axel, that's fine, I guess.
And the placement of this on the list.
Yeah.
Because we're almost to the end of it.
Yep.
But now they're talking about picking a race.
Yeah, I mean, there is some truth to that. Honestly, any race in Skyrim can do anything, obviously.
Pretty much, yeah.
But there are, initially, Orcs, Nords, and Redguards have some boost to some of the more warrior-based skills. That's kind of true, yeah. And frost resistance is good for warriors. Getting slowed down as well is nasty. Battlecry is decent. Berserker Rage is great. And Adrenaline Rush sucks if you know about vegetable soup. But this person clearly doesn't, so I can see it potentially having some benefit.
They were just talking about exploiting on the freaking graybeards. But
yeah,
nope, no soup.
They were also like crafting skills suck, right? So I feel like they've watched a handful of guides out there, and have then been like, yeah, I'm a Skyrim expert. I watched half an hour of videos on it.
Yep, I watched a playthrough.
Number 2, Caedo.
Number two. Multi-class wisely. Oh, interesting. You can still be a warrior and have the qualities of other classes. You can learn some restoration magic to heal yourself during battle, or you can save your shouts and learn some archery for a ranged battle against weaker enemies. The Shadow Warrior perk also allows you to deal sneak attacks in the heat of battle. That's at the end of the stealth tree. Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm going to keep going. Let me try that again. What's important, however, is that you're making sure that the skills you pick are meaningful to your build. The world of Skyrim levels up alongside you. When you level up, so do the Draugr and bears and everything else. So if you have a lot of skills spread out, you may find that the world itself has become stronger than you want. A few points in alchemy won't make much of a difference compared to the effectiveness of found or purchased potions. But that extra level put toward that and not combat means your enemies are a bit stronger while you stay the same. This whole thing infuriates me.
Yeah. They've now told us not to do smithing, enchanting, and alchemy explicitly to make an overpowered warrior. Do not do any crafting ever.
But what you should do is level the slowest possible skill you can level to keep yourself alive.
I like how they're also being like, oh, don't over-level too much after they've given the advice of sneak attack a ton.
Yep, that one makes me mad.
Like, honestly, the start of this I like. You can learn some restoration magic to heal yourself during battle. Yeah, a little restoration is helpful for a warrior.
Yes.
That's good. And using archery for a ranged battle against weaker enemies. Okay, yeah. You can multiclass a bit, go into archery as well. Being a combat archer and a warrior is quite a fun build. I really enjoy that. Leveling sneak up to max for Shadow Warrior. Oh.
That's stupid.
Yep. Draugr, Drauger.
Yep, I saw that too. I like how the specifics and then everything else was just Draugr and bears and everything else.
You know, it's like the 3 types of enemies in Skyrim: Draugr, bears, everything else.
Like one of their synapses just exploded in their brain and they were just like, I forget what everything is.
Considering these articles are like constantly updated, they all read like someone was just sat down, given an hour and been like, write 12 points. And they just do the first take and then move on.
Yeah. That's what happens when you're set up to mass produce a whole bunch of clickbait.
Would you believe it, but content farms don't make the best content?
Yeah, I would. I would believe that.
Anyway,
and we keep
you should
coming
multi-class wisely by ignoring some half of what they say, but paying attention to the other half, which actually makes it worse than just fully ignoring. Okay. Finally, though, we have something kind of useful: pay to train.
Hey.
Sometimes you're too lazy to train legitimately, and you just want the easy way to become powerful. If so, you should not have read this article. What are you doing with your life? No, it actually
I've lost
says...
the spot on the paragraph, Sarge.
Sorry, I skipped ahead. It actually says, when it comes to upgrading anything in the warrior perk trees, there's no easy way for anything but smithing, and that's only if you focus on it. They told us not to focus on... Luckily, you can always pay people in the companions who specialize in those skills until you reach 90 in all of them. It costs a lot of money, but it's easier if you multi-class as a thief and gain some skill in pickpocket to get your money back. Money can't buy everything, but it can turn you into a legendary warrior. Well, I personally love this mage warrior thief archer. They sound like a great build. 0 crafting, find everything, steal gold back to pay for training.
I think the problem that we had going in, Sarge, now that we've seen the whole list, is that we assumed they meant the literal warrior class, not warrior as a general term, because that's what they're applying here in the list.
Oh, do you think we assumed that maybe because they showed pictures of heavy armored warriors initially and said things like everyone just wants to slash apart dragons, a Nord armed with swords and heavy armor? Do you think maybe we thought warrior meant warrior because they were describing a warrior?
Yeah. We thought
I can't believe we did that.
but now it seems like the intent of this list is instead to just multi-class like crazy until you have something overpowered and hope for the best.
Multi-class in every single skill except for crafting ones. Notoriously bad crafting skills should be ignored.
Yes. So no alchemy, no enchanting, no blacksmithing. Just get good, obviously.
Yeah. Just loot equipment, pay for training. Everything will go fine.
So what was glaring in this last number one thing for you?
The fact that they're like in those skills and don't mention the skills. It's weird how they avoid mentioning the skills you can level up with the companions when they're mentioning like all the other skills. Like they mention pickpocket by name, but mention smithing by name. They mention like stuff to avoid or stuff that's ancillary to it by the specific name. But when leveling the skills you want to get, it's just those skills.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That's
it's
really
also
funny.
The case of the warrior they're going for. They've told us to use light armor, block, pickpocket, sneak, restoration. Those are the 5 skills they've explicitly told us to use. They've mentioned one-handed and two-handed, so I'm going to put those as minor. So we're a light armor block warrior that specializes in sneak, pickpocket, and restoration, while also doing some one-handed and two-handed.
Light armor with a heavy shield, mind you.
Oh, God,
the ethereal shield as the heavy shield.
Okay, if we include the equipment as well, we are very much board and sword character.
Yeah.
But light armor board and sword thief.
And ideally, wearing the entire Death Brand set while wielding a sword and board.
Oh, yes! I want to make this character now. I want to make a character that's Death Brand armor. What did they say for the swords? It was like bright equipment for the thing. Yeah. Death Brand armor,
Dawnbreaker,
Dawnbreaker, Dragon's Bane. Tons of potions, no crafting, fighting literally everything I ever walk into.
All of Whiterun's going to be dead.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Hey everyone, just quickly, if you want to know how to make an overpowered character, use the crafting skills. That's it.
Yeah.
That's how you make an overpowered character in Skyrim. Do the exact opposite of what was mentioned here.
Do the complete opposite.
Character.
The complete opposite of what is stated here. Like, this is probably one of the least accurate lists I think we've gone over.
Yeah.
Where, like, maybe there's like 1 or 2 that are like legit for advice, but the rest is no, do the opposite.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of the lists are just not particularly helpful. Like, oftentimes you end up at roughly the same point as when you started, where it's like, well, I didn't gain anything useful from that.
Yeah, I guess
this one you will do worse after reading the list.
Yeah, because drink potions like that, you know.
Yeah.
That's like real straightforward.
Let's be real. If you're not smart enough to figure out stuff like drinking the potion which tells you it restores your health is a way to restore health, you're not going to make it through Skyrim. Like, Skyrim's not a game for like big brain intellectuals or anything, but you need a bit of intelligence to make it through.
Yeah. At least understand some of the, you know, widely accepted game mechanics that have been there for decades.
Yep.
Decades. Oh my god. This the first part was really funny to me in the number one, the pay to train thing. So sometimes you're too lazy to train legitimately, and you just want an easy way to become powerful. When it comes to upgrading anything in the warrior perk trees, luckily you can always pay people in the companions who specialize in the second paragraph, who specialize in those skills until you reach 90 in all of them. They forget to mention that you only get 5 per level for training.
Yep. And
5.
Don't you need to join the companions in order to train with them?
Yes, you do.
So you can't always do it. You have to
In
join
fact,
them to
the follower companions don't train you.
Yeah.
Or they do. No, they do train you, but you can't do the free training thing that's right. So that's why they recommend the pickpocketing thing. But if you're going that route, that'll be probably a lot of saves coming, or getting kicked out of the companions.
Yeah.
And also your pickpocketing will be leveled extremely fast.
Yep.
I guess that takes care of the leveling issue, I guess. If you want to make that a loop. But man, that is a mess. And also the gold increases constantly, so you have to have an external source of gold anyway, right?
Oh yeah. You need
like it increases
ridiculous
exponentially like as you get close to 90.
Yeah, plus it becomes difficult to pickpocket the gold, because if your pickpocket isn't high enough, then you will have a low chance of getting it all, and eventually 0.
Yeah.
Because I don't... At some point I'll have to complain fully about just Skyrim's pickpocket system, because I have complaints, but yeah, it's certainly not a foolproof strategy.
So anyway, I know you've done... Didn't you do like an alchemy guide?
Yeah, I did a
for
best
Skyrim?
potions guide for Skyrim.
Yeah. So Sarge did a cool crafting guide. I did an ultimate leveling guide. If you're curious about anything listed on the gamer list that we talked about, like we've both covered those things in detail and with, note taking and making sure that we're correct as possible. So just go look at those.
I also have 75 character builds on my channel.
Yes.
Which will show you more powerful characters than you will make. And some of them are bad. Like, I'm going to admit, some of my characters are not very strong, and yet they're still better than the one that you would end up with following the gamer article.
Yeah. And many of them, according to this list, in fact, maybe all of them could be considered warriors.
Yeah, I mean, technically, yeah. One of them literally just heals followers, but I think they might be wearing light armor, so why not?
Yep, light armor warrior.
I mean, you can play as a light armor warrior, but what have you been playing, Caedo?
Good question. Well, I did already gush about it quite a bit, but I have been playing quite a bit of Hi-Fi Rush. It's just, man, it is just a fun game. Like if I know I was a bit cynical at the beginning of the podcast, but if a lot of games end up being like this level of polished and just straight up fun more so than the marketing DLC, like all that microtransaction bullcrap, if it's fun over that, it's gonna be a great year for games. Because this is a good starting point for me, and for anybody that I can encourage to try Hi-Fi Rush on Game Pass or get it for $30 on Steam or whatever your platform, because I think it's pretty much on everything. It's just a really good game. If you like hack and slashes, you're probably gonna dig it. Besides that, I've been playing Kenshi. What else is new? So alongside playing Kenshi, because it's kind of a chill game for me at this point, like once you get over that survivalist hill and your kill team is like way overpowered compared to any like patrols they run into or whatever, you can just kind of vibe out and just level things up and build and stuff like that, go full sandbox mode. What I've been doing while doing that is listening to a series called Mostly Walking, by Day9 and a couple of his friends. Day9, Sean Plott. You've probably seen him as a commentator for esports. He's a legendary StarCraft commentator. He also did the series Spellslingers on Polaris. Was it Polaris?
I don't recognize that name.
Spellslingers was the
I know Spellslingers. Polaris I don't recognize. Spellslingers I watched.
It wasn't Polaris.
It's very good.
I
If
don't
you want to
remember
learn
what
how to play
channel it was
Magic
on.
the Gathering, early Spellslingers explains things in a very accessible way.
Oh yeah,
While watching internet personalities play the game. It's
yeah,
great.
yeah. And Sean Plott, he has a charisma of 11. So he's just fun to watch in general too. Anyway, Mostly Walking is their series on adventure games, point and click adventure games. So that's why it's called Mostly Walking. But overall, it's kind of like just listening to a podcast, and he has all the playlists there. I've been going from the very beginning, and all of them are so much fun to watch and listen to while I'm just kind of chilling. So if you need some easy listening besides this podcast, of course, I recommend Mostly Walking because it's entertaining, and if you have some nostalgia for point and click games too, you get to vicariously experience these guys maybe like after a long time, coming back to an adventure game that you love, or never touching it and then having some sort of quippy commentary and dry humor and giggle fits about what they're playing and stuff like that. So highly recommend. I could have sworn there was something else. Oh yeah, Legend of Vox Machina season 2 is still really good.
Oh god, yeah. Sorry. My friend group have been like, hey, you'll love Legends of Vox Machina, right? And I'm like, no, I didn't get on with it. I made it like an episode and a half, and I was like, screw this show. Caedo loves it though. I'm sure he's gonna rant on and on about it the next time I speak to him.
So the first season was pretty rough, especially for someone who's not familiar with Critical Role.
Okay.
Season 2, its pacing slows down enough to where you can actually figure out what the heck is going on.
That's interesting, because the pacing was not my problem. If anything, I probably found it a bit slow.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I mean, that wasn't my main complaint. My main complaint was I didn't care at all about any of the characters. I found them all incredibly boring. But I figure saying that out loud will get me a lot of hate online. So what else do you want to talk about, Caedo?
Sarge, how dare you? I'm a super fan. No, I understand. And I also, everybody's got a different taste too.
Yeah.
Like I will regularly kind of give you guff about third person games, but like I can't I'm not gonna force you, dude. I was gonna make jokes and then we're gonna have a laugh. But yeah, that's mainly what I've been doing, I think. And also going through the Fallout 3 playthrough that you see a lot of B-roll of on screen. I've been slowly writing a spreadsheet of like weapons lists for Fallout 3, considering like post-game stuff that I can do to continue the playthrough and also get footage of those weapons so I can turn that into a countdown, kind of get a double whammy on the recording, which might be kind of cool.
That's sensible.
That's pretty much it though. Sarge, what have you been doing? You have a lot more things listed than me.
I mean, I've been away for 6 weeks.
Wait a gosh dang second.
This is a small smattering. Oh, what are you complaining about?
You have Monster Hunter Rise on your
Well, on this, there are 2 games I've played before and I wanted to mention. 2 games I think are great, and 2 games which suck.
Oh.
Caedo, let's play a game. What are the 2 games I've recently got into and I think are great on this list? So, just for the viewers, the list has, in order of what it's wrote down, Fallout 76, Dragon Quest Builders 2, ESO, Skyrim, Monster Hunter Rise, and South Park: The Stick of Truth.
Okay.
What are the 2 good ones, Caedo? Well, let's get the obvious out of the way. Fallout 76 and Skyrim are the ones I've played before.
Yeah.
That's nice and simple.
The ones that are great and the ones that I think it's more clear to me. We'll see what my guess is. Okay, Dragon Quest Builders 2 is one of the ones you liked, and ESO you didn't, because we already talked about that. Monster Hunter Rise you didn't, and South Park Stick of Truth you did.
Ding ding ding! Well done, Caedo. You don't win a prize because I've got nothing for you, but you got it right. Yeah. So Dragon Quest Builders 2 and South Park Stick of Truth, just fun games. They've got a clear kind of goal in mind. They work with it. You get what you expect. But that's good, because I'm getting what I expect. I played them because this is what I expect. Great stuff. Nice and simple. ESO, I try getting into it every once in a while. A friend of mine bought me like an ESO shirt, like recently, for Christmas maybe? Yeah, for Christmas. Bought me an ESO shirt, and that made me think, I should try out ESO again. It's one of those games I should get into.
Did you ask them why?
I mean, they don't know me super well, but they know I'm into like Skyrim, Bethesda stuff, so they probably just got that. And it's a cool shirt. Like, I like the shirt.
The ESO, I mean, yeah, the art for ESO is always kind of cool.
Oh my god, the best thing for ESO is like the art and the trailers. That stuff is phenomenal. The game, I don't like. So it's super MMO-y, first of all, and I'm not an MMO player. The reason I rage quit was because I finally got to the point of house building, and I'd seen people online being like, ESO house building is a whole other game, and I was like, cool, I'm looking forward to this. There are hundreds, maybe even thousands of items you can build in your house in ESO.
Oh no.
Huge selection. Guess how many of them are free to put down right at the start?
Oh no. Is that when the MMOs started really showing?
There is one item I was able to put in my house. One. Everything else told me how many crowns it would cost. As in, like, the in-game cash pay for it currency. I'm sure there's ways, without paying, to get some stuff for your house. That would totally make sense. But the fact that when building, it was just a scrolling list of pay money, like real money, silver. Is it silver? I'm trying to remember the name. Pay real money to get this thing in your house. That was just the final straw. I already wasn't enjoying the game. I'd gone to Vivek City and was talking with Vivek and doing stuff for him, and I was like, I'm not a lore nerd. None of this matters to me. Vivek is just a guy, in my opinion. I don't care about them. So, yeah. If you are a huge lore nerd, ESO is great, because you go to, like, meet famous characters and stuff. If you're not, and you're not into MMOs, it sucks. It is so boring.
Well, I'm sorry house building was such a fail for you.
I thought that was going to save it for me, and it ruined it. Monster Hunter Rise. Caedo, you love Monster Hunter. Guess what I hated about this?
Well,
I'm guessing you've played Rise.
I've played the crap out of Rise. Like, that's me and Kite's game right now.
Why did I quit out and immediately uninstall it after quitting?
Let's see. Was it... You probably didn't even make it to a rampage, did you?
I'm not sure what that is.
Okay.
Oh, wait, no. I remember them talking about it. Yeah, I made it not that far.
Playing on mouse and keyboard?
Nope. Controller.
Controller?
All of this has been on Xbox. Well, besides, like, Skyrim.
Oh, on Xbox?
Yeah.
Whoa. Yeah,
It's less electricity bill for me playing on Xbox than computer.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So I'm playing a lot more Xbox games.
Very smart. Thrifty. Is it the graphics?
It's the tutorial, Caedo.
Oh.
The dumbass, stupid tutorial, which drags on for so long and is like, okay, here's how to walk, standard stuff. Now here's how you take a photo. Now we're going to have you name another pet. You've already created 3 characters. Your human character, who you've created and named, your Palico, who you've created and named, and your Palamut, or whatever it's called, which you've created and named. That takes up a decent bit of time if you're going to make them look good. And my character was hot AF. So I spent a lot of time doing that. Then the tutorial, you'll have someone tell you, like in a dialogue, how to do the thing. I like it when games implement that. That's cool. Then it will pop up on the screen telling you the exact same information in a more technical way. So you get everything tutorialized twice for you, which obviously makes it take twice as long.
Yep.
And it teaches you stuff like how to walk and move, standard. What's around the village, cool, that's fine. Here's how you take a photo, okay. Here's the equipment chest. When are we going to move and do something? Have you met this person? Let's register you as a monster hunter. Oh, you don't have to do anything to register as a monster hunter. We're just telling you that you're registered as a monster hunter. We've been doing this for 5 minutes. Why are you still telling me I'm a monster hunter? Oh, we're going on a hunt now. Press the exact same buttons at the exact same time, do all of that. Okay, here's how you dodge an attack. Press this and this. That didn't dodge the attack. Why is that not dodging the attack? Why does this button combo in the tutorial not work in the way it says it does? Why is my sword instantly being sheathed while I'm in combat? There was so much stuff in just the tutorial. I made it onto like the second tutorial mission. Or no, I went for like a free explore thinking that I'll get out of the tutorials that way. And then just no.
No.
It's possibly the worst tutorial in any game I've played. It drags on so long, introduces you to so much pointless stuff, and like you'll have multiple pages with paragraphs to read through to teach you simple stuff that you do not need to know. And then in the middle of combat it'll be like, X and A, oh you didn't press it, you've died. Just garbage. I've avoided swearing, so I'm going to move on from that because I can't avoid it any longer.
Well, you know what, Sarge? That's fair.
Yeah. Honestly, I didn't think you complained too much for me. Like, I tried out because I was like, it'd be cool to get into this, but...
That's one of the, like, main... Like, it almost has Warframe-itis, the amount of, like, extra information it just drops on the player.
Yeah, and how much of it's pointless.
A lot of it being like something that's not going to apply to you for probably a very long time, or something that doesn't apply to that moment. And like, I personally would like it if they do something. I can't think of the game that does this, but there's been a few games that I've played that just put you into a mission immediately. Yeah, and let you feel your way around instead of...
I would have loved that.
Instead of constant pop-ups.
I want to say it was about half an hour, maybe 20 minutes, if I'm being generous, before I actually wielded a weapon in the game.
Yeah.
Ludicrous.
Yep.
A game which does the tutorial and stuff really well, Fallout 76.
Yeah.
Which I picked up on Xbox, because I wanted to make a video last month, or maybe even late December, called Fallout 76 is Good. Just kind of talking about, hey, this is actually a good game, and obviously the initial impression was terrible, but the point it's at now, it is a good game. And I've played a lot of 76. In fact, I think I played I got the 24-hour achievement recently, because I've been playing on a whole new profile on my Xbox and stuff.
Right.
So I've played 20 to 30 hours worth, and it's a good game. I am noticing more and more of the flaws as I progress, because there's the weird kind of power system and the legendary system I hate. I've gone on about that plenty.
Oh, yeah.
There are things I dislike about it, but overall I still think it's a good game, and the start of the game as well is kind of lovely. I really enjoy the start of the game. So that has made me decide that I'll be streaming it as like a regular series, because it'd be nice to do. Also, because otherwise I'd be streaming Skyrim, and I've been playing too much Skyrim. Oh god, I just finished 2 Skyrim series and started 2 Skyrim series. What am I doing with my life?
You know, you don't have to, Sarge.
I do. Everyone just wants Skyrim. I was like, oh, I'll put on Oblivion for them. Some people want that, and it's consistently doing the worst out of anything. It struggles to get like a couple of hundred views in like a day. Whereas Skyrim, it's like, oh yeah, that can get 1,000 views, no problem. People just want Skyrim.
Yep.
My viewers want one thing, and it's disgusting.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you didn't say much about Dragon Quest Builders 2.
It's just a good game. It's
Oh, okay.
like anime styling. You go around, you build stuff. You have a follower who does a lot of fighting for you. Your follower's kind of dumb, which is the biggest disadvantage. Like, oftentimes I'll be getting murdered, and my follower will just be standing there, wondering what they should do. But overall, it's just kind of a fun game. Yeah. Same as South Park Stick of Truth. It's made by Obsidian. It's New Vegas 2. Hey everyone, New Vegas 2. South Park Stick of Truth. Go play it.
Yeah.
No, it's South Park in a video game.
It's
turn-based, which I like.
Play other Obsidian games like that one, and also Pentiment. And
yes.
also Grounded.
And if you only play New Vegas and talk about how Obsidian's the greatest developer of all time, you suck.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
You can't be like, they made one game I like, therefore they're amazing. And then those same people will be like, oh, this company made one game I didn't like, therefore they suck. No, get a good variety of the games. If you truly like or dislike a developer, learn the multitude of what they've made. I'm gonna go off on a tangent. Please end the podcast, Caedo.
You should go on your tangent, because this is fun.
No, we're at like 2.25 hours. This is too long.
But
Next
you could have
time.
just easily segued
Next
me
time.
into CD Projekt Red sucks, and
No,
I have played other
Caedo,
games
we
they've
have
made.
to end this. We have to end this. I have to send this to you. I have to sort out my stream background. I have to make thumbnails. I have to eat at some point as well. There's too much to do today.
Just eat your thumbnails, it'll be fine. Okay, if you want to support us, check out the links below to our socials and Patreon and support and all that good stuff. Thank you so much for listening. The amount of time that you have, I'm sure you have your own comments about the list that we went over. Let's see, every other Sunday 10 a.m. Pacific is when these go up. Thank you to my patrons and the Wasteland Legends, Sven and Rose. Hey, I nailed it. And we'll see you in the next episode. Thank you, goodbye.